Welcome to the Laws of Life webcast network. I'm your host, Blanca, and right now we are starting the Laws of Business Breakthroughs hosted by Bamal Shah. Good morning, Bamal. How are you?
Good morning, Blanca. How are you?
I am doing amazing. I'm always fired up to start our Mondays off with the education that you provide our community. So, what are the laws of business breakthroughs you'll be teaching us today, Bamal?
So, today I'm going to talk about the most essential law, and that is your job description. We all have a job to do, we all do things. And many a times, especially when I ask the entrepreneurs or the owners or the business owner or the CEO, what's your job description? They kind of like, well, I don't have one. What do you mean? I just do whatever is needed, whatever comes my way. you
Okay.
know that's what I get, and I strongly urge that you should take the time to build your job description, including employees. When I ask them, tell me what, you're working here, you've been working here for 10 years, 20 years, you've been helping this company, write out what's your job description. And they have a hard time writing out because they're waiting for instructions. So many times, here's what I find out is that if you don't give written outcomes to your team members or even to yourself, you kind of just go with the flow. And then sometimes your employees are just waiting for instructions from you.
That's
Okay,
right.
tell me what needs to be done. Well, I'm waiting from you. And then you're so busy doing other things that they're just waiting.
This is exactly my challenge right now as I grow my company and build my team. And so you're sort of in this catch 22 because you want help, you need your team, but yet you're almost too busy to instruct. How do we solve this problem?
So that's a great question. So step number one is you need to take the time to build an organization chart, even if you are starting off new or you're just adding help. You should look at your future, build a profit and loss, and start building your organization chart so you know who's going to be positioned where. Now, when you hire help, you need to talk about outcomes and simply define the outcomes in daily, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, semi-annual, annual, quarterly, because there are some things that you need on a quarterly basis, on a repetitive basis. There's some things you would need outcomes on a daily basis, or some things you would need on a weekly basis. All those need to be defined based on an outcome, not a task. So when you want to build a job description, I see 99.9% of the job descriptions don't work because they're built on tasks. You need to do this task, you need to do this task, you need to do that task. And there's no definition of what is the end result we're looking from that task. So I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say you tell your assistant, call Mr. Smith. Okay, I called, I left a message. But what was your intent? Your intent was to meet Mr. Smith, to have a conversation, to book a time. And your intent was to get a time by this week so you can talk about this exciting webcast that you're doing with someone and you could share that. And you could, so now you have to clearly define the outcome that no matter what it takes, get Mr. Smith to talk to me by today afternoon. Now that is an outcome. That
Interesting.
is that is the end result you define. Now, how your assistant gets the outcome is entirely up to her.
Very, very interesting. So, I have heard split opinions on this topic because sometimes, and I'm going to really open up here and I'm going to be really transparent. Sometimes I feel like if I share, my inclination is to share with my team. I want to tell them everything. I want them to know the direction that I'm going in. But I've also been told that that can be overwhelming to the employee or the independent contractor, and that they may not want to know my goal. So you're of the opinion that they should know the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. There should be integration of their goals to your goals. And not only you should share your goals, you should ask them what's their goal. What's their vision? What are they looking to achieve? What's their future? What's their career? What's if you had a magic wand and you're meeting them 3 years from today, what do they want to see happen in their life to make sure that there is a meaningful transformation? So that, when you integrate their goals with your goals, you can have a meaningful conversation. And often I say, before the first day on the job of any new team member that you bring on, whether it's outsourced, whether it's an independent person, whether it's remote, whether it's on site, whatever it is, the number one thing is make sure they are fully trained to get the results that you need to get done. The time that you take initially to train that team member before the first day on the job could save you hundreds of hours or thousands of hours of frustration or challenges or repeat tasks or repetitive instructions. I've seen so many times you give the same training over and over again about the same thing.
Interesting. Now, Bamal, let me ask you this question. Do you think, what is your preferred module of training? Is it first a video that the employee should watch and then take a quiz on, or is it better face-to-face training, or is it better to have a meeting and get to know the employee? What do you think is best?
So, that is defined by what is the outcomes you're looking for. They're different for different types of jobs. And that's why I say, very first thing, before you even want to hire a new employee, build their own job description. That's why I create a very comprehensive questionnaire, when you want to find your dream employee. Okay. And that is more effective than any job description because it goes into like almost 100 questions asking about your new employee that you want to hire.
Wow. So how can our audience see this amazing questionnaire? How do they get access to it and learn this
So
wisdom?
they can either scan the QR code or go to bit.ly/my dream employee, capital M, capital D, capital E.
All right.
Bit.ly/my dream employee, or they can go scan the QR code or the Linktree link that you have. Either one would
Absolutely.
work.
Oh yeah, just choose my dream employee. So Bilal, what prompted your expertise in the field of recruitment? How did that develop?
So what I find is people, one of the things is they hire fast, they fire slow. you know they hire because they need someone, they hire for skills. So and this is what I see many times, when you look at resumes, so this guy has great skills, this has great, and then they train them for attitude. They find out that he or she has a very bad attitude, which you can't train for. Attitude is not something you can train for, and they fire out of frustration. But you should be hiring for attitude, training for skills, and firing for example. So, when you do that, you have a better thing. So the companies, that's why I say job descriptions are so important. Even your own, when you do your job, you should write out what does it my day look like? What am I planning to achieve day by day, week by week, month by month? Is what I am planning, because you have a job to do. You come to work, you spend your time, you do a job. What's your
Yes.
job description? What does it look like? But if you just go with the flow, if you just say I'm going to do whatever it takes, you sometimes get overwhelmed. And because you got so many things coming at your way and you're not focused. So if you build your own job description, you add meaning to your outcomes. Well, you know what? I don't need to be doing this. You start making decisions. This is a complete waste of time for me to utilize my time in doing these things when I could hire someone or even eliminate this because it's not getting me anywhere. You may look at some of your activities and you say, I've been doing this, but what's the end result I'm getting? That's why building a job description based on outcomes is so valuable.
This is so powerful, and the timing of this message is so key. I want to thank everybody tuning in and watching the Laws of Business Breakthroughs. If you ask Mamal a question, you will receive a free copy of his book. And every week, for week after week, everyone's getting these incredible. But tell us about your book and what it's about.
So my book is a series of books, and I'm writing 13. I'm on the fourth one right now. So it's basically walking entrepreneurs. My whole mission is to make pioneers out of entrepreneurs and helping them achieve their 3-year business goal in 1 year. So that series of books is walking them through step by step on how to achieve their 3-year business goal in 1 year. So that's, asking question. It's workbook type of scenario. Now, when I was, and also I talk about job descriptions, or chart, all of those things in there as well. Now, one of the things about job description, a lot of the times, I hear that, well, we never know things come up. So what I've seen in many companies, and this is an absolute waste, is that you have a 2 or 3 page job description, but none of that is relevant to their day to day. So what you do is you divide your job descriptions on like what needs to happen, every single day, and what is as needed. That these are things that may come up. Okay, somebody requests something. These are not that they may not happen the day, but they could as things come up. So you have two areas of your job description. One is the daily, weekly, quarterly, semi-annually. That they are recurring outcomes, and the second is as needed, as they happen. So then you're very clear on the measurable outcomes. I have a saying: what gets measured and reported takes improvement to a new level. You've heard the old saying, what gets measured gets improved, but what gets measured and reported takes the improvement to a whole new level.
That's definitely true, without a doubt. And I think we need that as entrepreneurs in order to feel motivated. I was reading about this new app last night, and it was a sweepstakes app. It was a way to encourage people to like, comment, and share your content, and that they would get points, they would get discounts for sharing your platforms. And they showed several case studies on the app. They showed that their likes increased, their comments increased, their engagement increased, and their sales increased during the sweepstakes period. So by measuring how their product specifically increased the metrics of their client, it was a very compelling case study, and it also made me want to buy that app. So are you a proponent of case studies?
Absolutely. I have a tool called the Good Job Measurer. And the Good Job Measure, it measures your job on a daily basis and gives you a score for the day. And if you don't attain a specific score, you work towards it. And if you do attain a specific score, you can structure a bonus. So this is where companies struggle the most, is say, how do we build a customized bonus system? You don't want to build a bonus system that awards everybody if your sales goes up, because not everybody contributes specifically to that in a direct way. So, how do you structure a bonus that is based on performance of a specific individual on their job, on their results? This is a tool that they can use, the Good Job Measure.
And we have a question from Christopher. And the question is, in this time of the pandemic, is it hard to find the right person?
So here's the thing. That's why I designed the system of My Dream Employee. It's the message that matters. So it is absolutely a skill set, which is we are masters at finding your dream employee. If you are just looking, you will have a hard time finding the right person. It's like fishing. Like if you go put a wide net across the sea, you pull out all the fish, and then you spend a lot of time sorting. That's what most people do. Imagine shifting through hundreds and thousands of resumes. It's a complete, utter waste of time. You need to be only looking at resumes that really matter. So how can you build a process? I've built a process that does exactly that. And when I go to companies, I show them how you can automate most of the steps to only look at resumes and only look at candidates that match who you're looking for. And if you can't do it, we'll do it for you.
That's incredible. Well, I'm going to be going to Bamal's Linktree. Oh, we have another question from Michelle. Michelle asks, could you give us one characteristic of your dream employee and why it's important?
So one of the characteristics and one of the things that I'm most big proponent of, their core values. And I ask this question even in interviews. What are your top 5 core values that you stand for? And some of those get pulled back. Like they don't even have 2 or 3 and they get stuck. And I tell them, you still have two more to go. So, if you ask the question, what are the top 5 core values that you stand for? And give me some specific examples of how you have used that in your professional career. Okay. And how do you intend to use in the job description that you're looking at? So I asked them, okay, this is what you have in. Tell me how you have used in the past and how you're going to use it in the companies going forward.
Very, very important information. And so, everyone, you can stay in touch with Bamal Shah, host of the Laws of Business Breakthroughs. You can take a picture of the QR code on the screen or simply visit Linktree/the 1 Year Breakthrough, where you can find that amazing process, my dream employee link, the process on finding the dream employee, which is something we all struggle with. And Bamal, thank you for bringing our community education every single Monday at 10:30. We're very grateful for your support and
Right.
your
And
team.
I'd like to share a quick story of a company where we built a complete hiring process using before, during, and after model, where before is how you attract your dream employee, during is how you deliver a great experience and a great career to that employee, and after is how you have that employee bring in employees like them. So you improve your retention and you build. And the good news is in this entire process, we're able to automate almost 75 to 80% of the steps that in the hiring process. So you need to have a hiring process, and the 4-letter word for success in a business is HIRE. If you hire, you will succeed. And nothing happens without a team. There's very few businesses that have succeeded without a team. You can't go farther without it, by yourself. There's a roadblock, there's a dead end that you will run across no matter what, no matter how smart you are, you will need a team. So, and you need to take, and the first step in building a team is writing a job description.
Well, that's incredible. And I want to thank Christopher and Michelle for watching the show today, for your amazing questions. Thank you, Bamal, for our incredible host. Join us here every Monday at 10:30. Bamal, have a fantastic day. And everyone out there, thanks for watching.
Thank you, Blanca. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.